What is going on, everybody? We are back, the Honolulu Blues Show. I'm your host, as usual, Adam Stark, and I got with me my two dudes, Nick and Julius. We are here to bring you guys a good episode, a fun one. And, man, oh man, we got a tie. So we're going to get into that. We had surprisingly a lot of Lions news, kind of notes go on after the game due to some injuries, due to some cuts, some signings, etc. We'll get to it. But, boys, I think we can all take a minute and enjoy that we have not just one superstar in Deandre Swift, but we have more superstars coming in Cade Cunningham, who has slowly started to show that can take over an NBA game. And once he gets that, Mamba mentality, it's over. What else? So you got any comments on Cade? You guys?
I love Cade. I have his jersey already. I think the kid is going to be an all-star like as soon as next season. You can just see his talent. He's just getting used to the league right now. And he's getting used to the league while putting up like 25, 8, and 8. And I'm cool with that. So the Pistons are going to lose a lot of games. We may very well have the number one pick again, which is exciting because Cade is going to be a superstar, and we can add another superstar with that. So, I mean, if you're a Pistons fan, you're just sitting back and enjoying watching this kid grow.
Absolutely, dude. I saw my buddy sent me a text. It's Cade about to pull up at the top of the key, and right as he does, 3 guys rush after him, and he just shoots it right down. Beef Stew grabs it, lays it in for 2. Awesome play. It just shows you like how dangerous opponents realize that Cade is. Like, it's so fun. I'm so happy we won this lottery. I can't believe we got so lucky where we got the first pick. Like, I didn't think that was even possible in the NBA. Like, I did not think the Pistons could ever get the first pick. And we got Cade. And like you said, Julius, if we happen to just lose enough games and get another first-round pick or another first overall pick, oh, my gosh, I can't wait. Like, that would be great. I do want to see us start winning more. But if the alternative is losing and getting another first overall pick, I'll be very okay with that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of studs in this draft class, like Amoni Bates, Jalen Duren, Chet Holmgren. So any of those guys, honestly, a top 3 pick is essentially a number 1 pick in most drafts for this year, just because it's very, very talented. But let's talk some Lions news and notes. We obviously had to cut Santoso after that missed extra point, and then that I'll use the analogy. What Santoso's kick was for that 40-yard field goal to win was a little kid riling up all his buddies saying, hey guys, I'm going to fart super loud. It's going to be hilarious. Everyone's going to love it. Here it comes. And it's a little grandma fart. And that's literally what that kick was. He left it so dang short. I'm not even sure if it would have been good from 35. It was just, it was brutal. He should have just let that thing swing, let his leg go, rip it, and just try to get the distance on it because it's clear he did not have the leg for a 48-yard.
Julius, I know you got some pent-up aggression for that kick, so let's hear that.
Listen, right? I thought the Lions were about to win their first game. I was like, okay. Because I remember back I think it was the Baltimore game. He made like a little clutch 40-yarder at the end to tie it for us before it fell apart at the end with the refs. But, I mean, I expected more than that. I really did. I don't even know how he made it out the locker room with his teammates. They were probably just shaking his head. Even though, listen, I'm sure everybody was okay with a tie. We're going to get into the tie. I was okay with the tie, but the Lions should have won. He missed the extra point, okay? And I knew when he missed the extra point, I thought in my head, that's going to cost us the game. I hope it don't cost us the game, but I know the Lions is going to cost them the game. And it did cost him the game. But he put sugar on top by missing that kick in overtime, and it was so pathetic looking. I promise to God, I seen middle school kickers drill 40-yarders better than this dude. Gave a attempt. You could tell by his body language before he kicked that he wasn't ready. He was super scared. He was super nervous. He looked like he didn't even want to attempt to kick. And it was a great snap. It was a great hold. And when I saw him go and kick that, it was literally one of the most embarrassing things as a Lions fan. And we are Lions fans. We've seen a bunch of crazy stuff. Orlovsky in the back of the end zone, Hail Mary, Green Bay. I swear it was embarrassing. I just wanted to put my head down and turn the TV off. But yeah.
It really was terrible. Like just watching it, man, the was real terrible about it was the amount of hope that had built up, like in just that, like, okay.
And we had a good drive going too. We were marching, and then we took the sack. And I think that was on second down. So we had like a 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 15. And then we got yards back. And it was like a 4th and 7 or 4th or whatever. And it was a 48-yard field goal. But it was going to be like a 54 or 52-yarder if we didn't get a little bit back.
When I looked at it and I rewatched it, what it looked like to me was that he was nervous, not for the kick, but he was nervous of falling down. It looked like he didn't want to plant with his left foot.
He didn't want a Charlie Brown moment.
He didn't want Charlie Brown. He didn't want to plant with his left foot and have that slip out from under him and just not even be able to make the kick at all. So he tried a pooch kick. And if anyone's ever golfed before, we know how it goes when you got to try to, like, pooch a shot, pooch a pitch. And you're just trying to, like, you're not really going to give it all your all. You're just going to kind of try to hit it nice and square, nice and basic, and let it do its job. So that's what it looked like he tried to do. And then it looks like it got deflected. And you're like, oh, man, tipped at the line. And you realize that it wasn't deflected, and it was just no more than a 28-yard field goal attempt from 42 yards out, or however far it was, 46 yards out. It was embarrassing. It was our backup kicker.
Of course, the one time like Seibert is out, he has the hip injury and is now on IR. So he was kicking great too, and I'm 100% confident if we had Seibert, we win that game. If it's in regulation or if he hits the 48-yarder in overtime.
I hope the tie doesn't come back to bite us, but that should have been a win. And I'm not going to solely blame it on the kicker. Obviously, it's a long game, a long 70 minutes this time. But the kicker blew an extra point that could have potentially been the go-ahead point or go-ahead win, and he blew a field goal that could have also been the game-winning kick. I don't put all the blame on him, but he's got to take blame. Obviously, he's not on our team anymore, and, tis what it is. It was a bummer.
Yeah, so we got rid of Santoso. We brought in a couple guys, Aldrich Ross, I believe. He's been bounced around on like a million teams. I've just heard his name forever in the NFL. And then the one we actually signed to the team was Riley Patterson, which a guy who I've never heard of, which is kind of interesting because I'm a huge football fan and know pretty much everyone in the NFL. But Riley Patterson, coming from New England's practice squad, ironically another Patriots player, but had nothing to do with Patricia or any of that nonsense. But we get a Patriots player. Hopefully he turns out to be a stud. And he comes from Memphis, was an undrafted free agent. The Vikings signed him, and then he came over to the Patriots practice squad. And while in college, he was 64 for 82 on field goal attempts and 240 for 246 on extra point attempts. And he was also second in all-time in Memphis leading scorers. So he got something going for him. I like that we're giving someone new a shot. What do you guys think of giving just this Riley Patterson dude a shot and not someone who's maybe a little bit safer? Because we've seen that the money badger, Michael Badgley, has been filling in pretty well for Blankenship over in Indianapolis. I'm sure there's some other veterans in which we did get Aldrich Ross, but are you guys okay with bringing in Patterson as the dude, I should say?
I'm cool with it. The Lions kicker situation right now is pretty bleak, and it was already pretty bleak before Santoso missed those field goals against the Steelers. I mean, it was shaky ground the whole season. You knew if the game was on the line, you were not confident, and whoever it was, Seibert, Santoso, whoever, you felt scared because, we probably that's another part of our team that's just talentless among several other positions. Even though Jack Fox is wonderful. So you feel good about him. You almost want him to be the kicker.
I wish, man. Like, I wish I didn't see the videos of him just missing kicks left and right. And that my dad was saying the same thing. He was like, "Man, we just need to get Jack Fox kicking." I'm like, no. If anything, get one of these players to go out there and kick like Ndamukong Suh tried to do a few years back. I don't know, whatever. Like, let's give this kid a shot. We're not going for the Super Bowl by any means. In fact, some like there's probably 30, maybe 40% of the fan base that doesn't even want to see us get a victory. So I'm like, let's just bring in whomever. Maybe this guy is the next, Matt Prater. Who knows? You'll never know without giving him a shot. So now is the time to give him an opportunity.
Speaking of Matt Prater, man, it would be kind of nice to have him right about now. He would have no problemo bombed that 48, or he would have sent it 68 yards through the uprights. But we don't have him. And to add a little more salt to the wound, Zane Gonzalez, the guy who was beat out by, I believe, Seibert, was named special teams kicker of the week for the second time. So that's kind of a bummer. But can't be living in the kicker realm all too long. So let's talk about some other guys that got cut in. Geronimo Allison. He was released. Nothing special about him. I don't think he really got it going. He's kind of a veteran type player, so I didn't expect him to get a whole lot of opportunities, but he couldn't make the most of it. And then the one big news thing that came up after the Lions game was Jared Goff strained oblique, in which he was held out of practice these last couple days. Tim Boyle's now taking first-team reps. So, boys, what do you make of this oblique strain, and are you familiar with an oblique?
Isn't the oblique like right here?
I have no idea. I'm going to look it up.
Oh, it's up here. Okay. I knew it was like something with your throwing, your pectoral, your inner pec. Guys, I think Jared Goff has had an oblique strain since week 4. The guy's got one passing touchdown in the last 5 games. Do we know that? Like, is that one passing touchdown in the last 5 games? 3 in the last 7 games. He's got 8 touchdowns on this year. We've played 9 games. Like, he's just, man, I don't know. There's a lot to digest when it comes to Goff. We'll keep it with what the question you asked, which is like the oblique thing. Like, Dan Campbell came out, right, after the game and said, I talked to Mark Brunell. I talked to Anthony Lynn. I talked to the trainers. I talked to Jared Goff. Everyone said we were good to go, so we went with them. Paraphrasing, Jared Goff with an oblique strain, they felt gave them a better opportunity to win that game. And there was a lot of stuff that happened during this game. Dan Campbell takes over play calling. We rushed the ball 40-plus times. We have 200 yards on the ground. It's a rainy day. Goff couldn't throw it even if he didn't have an oblique strain. And this rainy day, like, no one could throw the ball. Like, no one could catch the ball. It was a 1950s Mud Bowl, fun, classic blue-collar Detroit versus Pittsburgh style football game. But to Jared Goff and his oblique strain, dude, like, if his oblique is that hurt, like, I don't care if everyone says he's good to go, and if we don't trust him enough where we're doing draws on 3rd and whatever, 3 to 30, like, there is just no reason to have him in this game at that point. I would have rather had Boyle in. Now Goff has come out and said that he's feeling more, or he's feeling like worse than he thought he would in his oblique, and it's like, well, yeah, because you played a whole game with an oblique strain. If you're hurting, dude, don't put the Lions, at risk just because you want to be the man. You want to be what Matt Stafford was. Like, no, dude, you're not that good. Get out and let Boyle just run the show if you're that bad. So now he's hurt. Hopefully he doesn't play this week. This can be the turning point that we need. I don't know, man. Oblique strain. What the hell? Get him out of there. What are we doing?
There's no reason for Goff to play, because you're right, Nick, because he isn't even giving us anything of value on the field. Like, don't, the play hurt thing, tough it out for the team, man. I know you got a lot of pride. Come on, man. We know. I was a player once before in high school. Hey, You go through it. Hey, you're a millionaire. You're making a lot of money. You just have not had a good season. It's okay if David Blau or Tim Boyle start a game and while you rest up your hip. Don't push it, Jared. Don't push it. You're the worst quarterback in the league statistically and analytically. Minimum of 150 snaps.
Jared Goff is currently ranked 35th out of all quarterbacks in air yards per attempt. There's only 32 teams, and this quarterback is ranked 35th out of all quarterbacks in air yards per attempt. And for anyone who doesn't know, for the listener out in Wisconsin who doesn't know football, air yards per attempt is just how far the ball travels from where he throws it to where it goes to the wide receiver. Catch, not catch, doesn't matter, just how long that ball is in the air. He is dead last, -3. -3. Fantasy points per drop back, he's 32nd in the NFL, 0.3 points per drop back. He's so bad. His deep ball completion percentage, 29%. Worst in the NFL. Worst of any quarterback in the entire NFL. And deep ball, 15 yards or more. 29.2. 3 out of every 10 times he throws the ball 15 yards or more, we complete it.
Now I have a question. Since obviously the Lions do not have the best weapons to help out Goff, how much of a role do you think our weapons surrounding him plays into just this awful Goff performance? Because realistically, if he was on, this Rams team, he's not playing this bad. So a lot, a little, none at all, or a ton.
I think there is definitely a point that plays into it. I think give him Rams, we've seen where he finished, which is 20th to 23rd, I would say, kind of in all the major stats. That's kind of where he lands. Yards might be a little bit more because he's got better yards after catch wide receivers there. But not much, right? He's not going to, give him, I don't know, just a mediocre talented team. He'll still be in the bottom tier of all quarterback stats. He literally needs the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiving core for him to be propelled to a top 10, top 15 quarterback. So I think I've seen enough times where he has been the one to drop the ball and not the wide receivers, not the routes they run, not the balls that they drop. He's just dropping the ball and not getting it to the correct person or getting the correct throw out enough to say that he's still going to be one of the worst 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, even if he had a different supporting cast.
Yeah, speaking of Julius, do you want to touch in on Goff on how much the wide receivers and / just all around weapons have affected Goff?
It affects him a little bit, because like Nick alluded to, if you got better players that can catch the ball and make plays, which he had in Los Angeles, that's why his stats were puffed. But Sean McVay and the Rams knew what we now know in Detroit, that Jared Goff will not propel your offense forward, okay? He will only hold it back. He attempted a couple deep passes in that Steelers game, and they were off. They were short. I remember Khalif Raymond had his dude beat by 6 yards, I think in the first half.
Yeah, it was like the second or third drive.
A second off the throw. As always, he's shown us this several times. You cannot fool me, Jared Goff. I know who you are. We all know who you are now.
And Jared Goff, I got a little stat right here. And this is just off of playerprofiler.com. I hope they're pretty legit. Receiver target, right? And this is just receivers that are targeted. This doesn't include anyone that he's just missing in general. But receiver target separation is 4th best in the league at 2.14. I think a lot of that is because he's throwing a lot to Swift. Linebackers are just pretty far off of Swift when you catch the ball. They're not going to be right on top of you like a wide receiver. And it doesn't just seclude wide receivers. But still, 4th in the NFL. There's a stat out there that shows receiver target separation is 4th best in the NFL, 2.14. Goff's total QBR is 33rd out of all quarterbacks. So again, under the 32 at 27.3. His total QBR this year is 27.3. I'm pretty sure my 5-year-old daughter can put up at least a 27.3 QBR. Like, she can go out there and throw 1 touchdown in 5 games, I bet. So I don't know, dude. This guy's so bad. And the big argument, and I hate to keep rambling on about this, but the big argument is, well, we're paying him. He has to stay starting because we're paying him $33 million. That's bullish. That's idiotic. That's moronic. You cannot think like that. Just because we're paying him, and yes, we're paying him, and next year, does not mean our team needs to sacrifice. Put that $33 million paid quarterback on the pine. Let him ride the bench. Scare some people with that. That's a head game. That shows it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid, who you are, where you came from, who your connections are. If you ain't good, you ain't playing.
And that's the way Dan Campbell been presenting himself. So I expect that to come.
I hope so. Either that or Dan Campbell's a lot of
Steelers
talk.
game after the bye. We said it on the show.
Yeah.
The Steelers game after the bye was the cutoff date. And hey, Thanksgiving is coming, man.
I think what's going to happen is Dan Campbell is going to be like, Goff, if you're not 100%, tell me, and you're not playing. And it's going to come down to it where Goff's just not going to be 100%, and that's going to factor into the decision and kind of be maybe a little scapegoat in case Boyle, whoever comes out, plays just completely terrible. And so, in which I think that we could see, a Blau come out this week due to Goff just not being 100%.
We all got to wrap our head around it. It is Boyle. It is not Blau. Blau will not be.
Did I say Blau? I meant to say Boyle.
Yeah, it's Boyle.
It is. Yeah, it is Boyle, which is very.
I haven't saw Boyle since he was throwing picks in the preseason. So, hey, Boyle, Blau.
Man. But hey, one thing's for sure. The Lions are not going 0-17. So we got the tie, and there was a lot of mixed emotions, mixed feelings between Lions fans and Michigan fans. But before I get into that, all I got to say is on Saturday and Sunday, we saw Michigan basketball not lose, Michigan football not lose, Michigan State basketball not lose, Michigan State football not lose, Red Wings not lose, Pistons not lose, and the Detroit Lions did not lose. So clean sweep, we'll take it. Doesn't happen often in the Mitten State, but it happens.
It's rare.
It happens. So Lions, we got a tie, and we have a chance to go 0-16-1, which looks weird, but I have a question in which we were talking about this a little before the show, and it's if the only way to get the number 1 overall pick was to go 0-16-1, would you guys be okay with it? And if we did win a game, we go 1-15-1, we do not get that number all pick. We get the number 2 pick or later. So what does that 1 win mean to you guys? Obviously, we all want to get a win, and hopefully the Jets or Jaguars who play the Texans in the next 5 weeks beat them or lose to them, so the Texans gain a win or 2 and would allow the Lions to have 1 win and a tie and still get that number 1 seed. So, boys, would you be okay with going 0-16-1 if it meant Kayvon Thibodeau?
Julius, you want to lead us up?
I mean, no, I wouldn't be okay. I want the number 1 pick in Kayvon Thibodeau or whoever that may be, because the Lions need the number 1 pick. Okay, we have to choose the best player next year's draft for us to move forward. Penei Sewell could very well end up being the best player of this past draft. We don't know. He looks pretty good. We'll see in a couple of years. It could be, though. There is a possibility Penei Sewell has a legendary career, goes to the Hall of Fame, is a beast. We need to draft that player again next year. Could we do that with the number 1 pick? Sure. I wouldn't be mad if we lost. When the last time they won? Dan Campbell need a win on his resume to keep going, not a tie. Even though a tie is okay, it feels good. But if we went 0-16-1 and having a number 1 pick, knowing that if we would have won a game, we would have failed to the number 2 pick and gave it up to the Texans or the Dolphins or whoever, then we'd probably feel kind of salty if we're missing out on a great player that we really want. So I'm kind of torn, but I'm not. I just want the number 1 pick. If we win a game and get the number 1 pick, I'm double happy.
Exactly, and yeah, before you get into it, Nick, the Texans do play. They're the only team with one win, I believe. The Texans do play since the Dolphins upset the Ravens the other day. That was kind of big, in which the Texans do play the Jaguars and the Jets in the next 5 weeks. So if they got a win over either of those teams, which I think could definitely happen, as Tyrod Taylor already beat the Jaguars once, and the Jets are now starting Joe Flacco. So who knows what could happen with them.
Oh, man, this is a good question. This is a really good question. The thing is I'm not sold on Thibodeau. I love him. And if we get him, I'm going to be all about him. And I can't wait. But I said this on last week's podcast or a couple weeks ago. He ain't going number one. A quarterback will end up being the first overall draft pick. That's just going to happen, especially if it's the Texans or the Lions, because the Texans have already once drafted edge to start first overall rather than drafting a quarterback, and they did nothing for him. They're not going to make that mistake again. There will be a quarterback drafted first, possibly second overall. Maybe not that much, but at least first overall.
The Texans have done it twice. They did it with Mario something, and then Jadeveon Clowney.
So maybe they're notorious where they will end up doing Thibodeau, but it seems like that's just the definition of insanity for them. They have to get a quarterback because Watson ain't playing for them no more. But anyways, I am not sold on Thibodeau being the first overall, the savior, the Chase Young impact when it comes to the NFL. I think this year is actually maybe the worst year to have the first overall draft pick. I truly believe that. And the last time we had the first overall draft pick, we did get Stafford, but honestly, I thought it was another really bad year to have a first overall pick. It seems like we don't get these first overall picks on the years where the Andrew Lucks, the Trevor Lawrences are coming out. And we're getting them where the Sam Howells are coming out and the Thibodeau, and hopefully he's good. I mean, him and Penny on the same team would be a great, fun brotherhood and whatnot. But if he doesn't come in, he's got 6 sacks so far on the year in college. If he doesn't come in the NFL and get at least 10 sacks his rookie year, then we're all going to be sitting here wondering what's happening. We will need someone to replace Trey Flowers. I get that. And he would be an amazing replacement for Flowers with Julian Okwara on the other side. That's awesome. I love the idea of that. But we need a quarterback more than we need an edge rusher right now. We need to get a quarterback, and we can't wait until the last 2 picks of the draft to get a quarterback. Other quarterbacks will go before them. I know right now we sit here and we think there's no quarterback. There will be these quarterbacks can play in the NFL. Mac Jones was thought of as an afterthought.
Zach Wilson, they come out of nowhere.
So exactly. And we see maybe not so much Zach Wilson right now, but we see what Mac Jones is doing. A 4-game winning streak with New England.
Well,
and he was the 15th quarterback.
In which quarterbacks can you'll never hear the guy. Then all of a sudden Baker Mayfield's number 1.
Yes.
All of a sudden Zach Wilson's number 2. Sam Darnold's number 3.
Josh Allen was in Wyoming. No one had heard of him until Mel Kiper put him first overall on his mock draft, and then everyone laughed at Mel Kiper, but then everyone knew Josh Allen's name. I'm telling you, we're gonna end up getting a quarterback. So the thing is, overall, give me the win, boys. Give me the second pick. And I'm down. I'm down. I'm normally the guy who wants to tank, but I'm all right with the second pick if we get a win. Campbell has to have a victory this year. We can't let Campbell go all off season thinking of 16-1, his first year as whole year as a head coach. We can't have that. That'll play into his mind, media's mind, free agents' minds, everything. It will be very risky, in my opinion. We have to get one win, not for the Lions, but for Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, that coaching staff, all of them. They deserve that win. They need that win. And I think we'd all feel better. Even with the second pick, I think we would all feel better knowing that they got the win. Sure, we'll complain about it in the offseason. We'll be like, we should have the first overall pick. But that's just because we need to talk about something. Ultimately, I think in our hearts, we want to see Campbell get one win.
The Lions have flexible pathways. See, if they win a game or two, they still got good draft capital. They can still get a quarterback. They can still get a dominant defender. I mean, if they got the 3rd or the 4th pick, they can still trade down and get more picks. and just go Zulu. And Thomas Faber in the comments brings up how LA trading picks for established players, stars. The Lions could go that route too. They have a ton of draft capital. Hey, you want to trade for Deshaun Watson? You think he cool with his little legal drama going on? You think you got an inside tip? You want to throw a couple first round picks to Houston for Deshaun Watson? Lions fans will love it.
Yeah, that's true. I think that maybe what we need to do. We have failed at drafting for the last 800 years. Like, why don't we just throw? Like, why do we covet draft capital so much? Like, just get rid of it. We don't know what we're doing. We hadn't had a second round draftee be good until Swift for like 10 years. A first round talent since, besides like Decker, since Stafford. Like we aren't good at drafting. Why do we like covet these draft picks? Why do we try to get more draft picks and then embarrass ourselves come April? Do what the Rams are doing. Trade away for proven veterans.
It would be an interesting route to go if the Lions did that. And honestly, I would not. I think a lot of Lions fans would be on board just because it's something different, just because the draft history we've had, and Brad Holmes has obviously had some success, trading away picks and not using those first round picks. Not saying trade away every single pick, because a lot of people don't realize the Rams still have 8 draft picks this year. Granted, none of them are, I think, in the first or second or maybe even third round, but they have a lot of later round picks. I can guarantee you they'll hit on 1 or 2, and that's honestly all you need to do every couple of years. So
look at the Patriots right now. They drafted Mac Jones 12th overall, Ramondre Stevenson in the 4th round, Christian Barmore in the 2nd round, traded up to get him. Like, these are not guys that are going 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th overall. Like, they went and they drafted Chase Winovich in the 2nd round last year. Like, you just got to know what you're doing, and the Lions have proven that they don't. Now, hopefully Brad Holmes can change all this. I'm still waiting for Aleem McNeil to do something. I'm still waiting for Levi Onwuzurike to do, like, really get impactful in these games. Luckily, Barnes has been good, but his draft picks haven't been amazing. Yeah, Sewell's been awesome.
Speaking of Sewell, his play has totally turned around. His first 5 weeks, he was showing that he was a 20-year-old rookie, and these last weeks from 6 to 10, I believe, he has been phenomenal. So Penei Sewell has really stepped it up, and also who else has noticed is his old former Oregon teammate Kayvon Thibodeau, who quote tweeted a PFF grade on Penei Sewell, hyping him up, and Penei Sewell came back in the comments and said, brother, with a little hand emoji going. So obviously they are close, and I think that would be another nice little thing to have in which both of these Oregon guys would be playing against each other every single day of practice, would make each other better. So another little tidbit to maybe get this guy.
Penei Sewell really put all those "he can't play right tackle" haters away, didn't he?
Yeah.
He silenced them real quick.
Exactly. And let's just get into it. The Steelers game. We get the late news a day or two before. I think it literally was the night before the game. Ben Roethlisberger, positive COVID, ruled out. Mason Rudolph is getting the start. And as Lions fans, or I guess just all NFL fans know, this dude is not the best. So I know we tied the game and we should have won it a bunch of different ways, but all in all, I'm taking a tie. If we had a coin flip of win-loss or a guaranteed tie, I probably would have taken that guaranteed tie, especially against the Steelers. What do you guys think?
I'd take my chances.
You really? Okay, I like it. Yeah.
Give me the loss or give me the win. I'll take the tie, but ultimately this tie could end up just coming to bite us in the butt. Tie isn't the win that Dan wanted. Dan doesn't have that champagne bottle ready to pop open with his first tie, his first non-loss. You know what I mean? Like, the Honolulu Blues still hasn't seen a victory. I would rather take the win. I don't care about the tie. I'm glad we got it ultimately. I can't really talk too much about it. It's a tie, and it's kissing your sister. Life happens. Let's move on to the next week.
I hate ties. I really do. I hope the league comes up with a way to end ties. I don't know what they want to do, like a kickoff, which we would have lost, or one like college game level where you can go 10 overtimes until somebody wins, starting off at the 20-yard line.
Well, college changed it now. After the first 3 attempts, you only get one play. So it's one play back and forth. One play back and forth. And, like, the NFL should be doing something like that. Like, just start like high school does at the 10-yard line. You got 4 plays from the 10-yard line 2 different times, and then you just keep switching back and forth, one play at a time. That'd be great.
Keep it simple.
I hate ties.
I hate ties
and
too.
Ironically, Najee Harris of the Steelers was fully prepared to keep playing, as reported. He did not even realize that NFL games end in ties, which is kind of funny. And, man, Najee Harris, I wish so bad that – I mean, I love Swift, but if there was an alternate universe where him and Jamal Williams could be teammates, oh, my gosh. I feel like these two would be the best 2 buds in the world. They have the exact same fun personality, just always – having an upbeat smile, having fun about everything, no matter what it is. They're always just having fun. So at least we got to enjoy some fun Najee quotes for this game. But we do have a workhorse in ourselves, and I wouldn't trade him for anyone in the world, including Najee Harris, and that's Deandre Swift. And this dude showed that he can be the cowbell workhorse, whatever you want to call it. 33 carries, boys. Did you ever imagine seeing Swift getting 33 carries this year?
Not really. but like at the beginning of the year, like when we hired Dan Campbell, this is what I expected. This is what I expected the Lions to be in the dome, in the rain, in the sun, in the snow. Run the ball down their throat 40 times every single game. Why haven't we been? DeAndre Swift is obviously like, I don't understand how coaches in the NFL, Matt Patricia, Dan Campbell, but couldn't see it. But we sat here and said, this is how you're going to win a game. Over and over, we said, you're going to win a game by feeding it to DeAndre Swift. Feeding it. Like, just feeding it. Overfeeding. Kill him with overfeeding. Like that movie Saw. Or I think that was the movie that they did that in. Anyways, like, dude. This is how we win games. And this is it. The first time we didn't lose a game, we did exactly what we said we needed to do over and over and over and over and over. So I'm so happy we finally did this. It'll probably take life off of Swift, which is kind of a bummer. In the long run, in a few years, we'll see this coming back. But if we want to win a game this year, this is what we're going to have to do. So I say bring it on. Let's play 1950s football for the rest of the year. Bring Tim Boyle in, let him throw. I think Goff had 7 passes at halftime. That's too many. If Goff's going to be in at quarterback, he needs 5 by halftime, and he's allowed 10 the all game.
Yeah, honestly, though, the Lions, if we did do a ground and pound, got 40 carries between Swift and Jamal, where Swift gets 30, 25, 15 maybe. And I think if we did that against every team to finish the season, there would be one crack in the road where we would just expose the hell out of some run defense that just piss poor, and the Lions just dominate the ball, dominate the control, and just win a game 14-10 or something like that. So,
listen, half the teams we play is gonna be those teams that we can run the ball against, and I hope Matt Nelson come back, because that jumbo set that they had rolling in the first half against Pittsburgh was lethal. And Matt Nelson was an excellent swing tackle coming in on that jumbo set with 3 tight ends. And it kind of make me, and they might be on to something with it, okay? Dan Campbell, he's starting to call plays, or at least relay plays to the field. They might be on to something with this power run scheme. And it might help the passing game with play action coming up a couple against these teams that are vulnerable against the play action and the run. The Browns have been showing major leaks, and they have tons of injuries going on right now. They're susceptible. The Bears have been susceptible, even though they shut us down. I think they own to something. They need to keep up.
Yeah. Goff had 3 fumbles. Goff had 3 fumbles in that Bears game. We could have won that game. Been able to
you're right.
No turnovers in this game. We tied. So, honestly, just keep it simple and keep it smart. Let the other team make the mistakes, and just don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Keep it simple, stupid, That's the
and
office.
We had Ragnow, bro, now with Decker back and Panay on the right side, bro.
That would be
I had the best run game in the NFL. I swear to God, dreams. You call it dreams, but what I saw against Pittsburgh, they can make something out of that, man. And Ragnow, man, he would just be the cog. But
next
it's okay.
year.
Evan Brown, serviceable.
Next year, baby. We're gonna have the best run game next year. Next year's our year, boys. Next year's our year.
I think we need to draft a running. No, maybe we don't need to draft a running back.
Draft a running back. What are you talking about over there?
Yeah.
Calm down, Julius.
I'm talking like a 4th or 5th round.
No. I believe Jamar
AJ
Jefferson
Dillon.
and Agui Mbawake, whatever his name
Godwin.
is.
Shout out to them. You're right.
Godwin and Mbawake. They're all right. All right. Anyways, I love that Dan Campbell was like, I'm taking over play calls. He said, we're going to try to switch things up like Anthony Lynn has been doing all right. But he trusted Jared Goff too much. Dan Campbell was like, we don't do that around these parts. I'm taking over play calling. 3rd and 12? Yeah, we're giving to Swift. 3rd and 18? Yeah, we're going to Swift. 3rd and 21. I was like, there's no way. There's no way we draw a play on here. We're going to Swift, baby. Every single time. It didn't matter. Campbell was like, I'm taking over play calling just so I can keep this ball out of Jared Goff's hand as much as possible. And I'm so happy. He won my heart even more over with this play calling that I saw. I was so happy that he took over. Do you guys think he like does it all year? Like, is Campbell's here to stay now, calling plays?
I'm not sure. I will say, I think he was a little like general with his play calling. He was very it was almost too simple, in which honestly might be able to work, but I would love to see a little pizzazz, maybe just like a jet sweep with, Amon-Ra coming around or whoever, just a little, run action and incorporate the play action more, because obviously our quarterbacks can't really throw it, but we have shown that we can get the receivers can beat the defenders and get open on either play action or whatever it is.
Yeah, I fully expect him not to run the ball 40 times when we're actually not in a freaking hurricane during the game. Like this, we'll obviously have to see what happens this week against the Browns. But I mean, if this shows anything, I think that we're going to be seeing a lot less passes, a lot more high school football, run the ball through their throat, bite some kneecaps off on the way.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
We should, like I said, they can build off of that game. That could be a trial run, and against the Browns, they can whip out the play action from those jumbo sets. Whip out some, they could do some end arounds, maybe some misdirection. They got something going. Well, I'm interested to see the Browns game, what they do offensively as far as play calling. I'm very interested.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, obviously. There's a lot of entries going on with both teams, but before we get into the Browns, let's just wrap it up with our defense, in which the defense looked not too bad. I mean, we were going against Mason Rudolph, in which he's a very subpar quarterback, but Julian Okora had the interception. We had a couple forced fumbles by Mark Gilbert and Trey Flowers coming up big. And honestly, the Lions were looking like we were going to end up losing this game until I think it was Trey Flowers that punched it out of Freiermuth's hands or whatever. But the Steelers were getting into field goal territory. Boswell had already drilled a 50-yarder on us, so he could have easily done it again. So I'll take the tie. It was an ugly tie, but a tie nonetheless.
It was a mud bowl. You're not going to get much out of it. Anyone who was expecting the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Rams on Monday night a few years ago for this game was going to be highly disappointed. This was what we were expecting. This is what we saw. I think this foreshadows, though, the way for the Lions to actually win. I think we've seen us try to play like an actual NFL team for the first 8 weeks of the season, and it got us nowhere. I think now having to resort back to the basics and play a very high school, very white, very vanilla type football is the only way we're going to actually be able to stay competitive in these games. I'm not too upset about it, but again, it was a mud bowl. It was sloppy. 16-16, better than 19-17 Steelers. So
it would have been awesome, man, if we won that game 19-16, in which that was how we beat the Steelers last time in overtime against the infamous, bus call, heads tails thing. But one last question before we get to the Browns. What did you guys think of that last play call? We obviously weren't in any type of field goal territory or close to that. It was possibly Hail Mary territory, but we were right on like the 40, 45-yard line, in which maybe Goff could have thrown it there, but with that oblique injury, probably not. So what do you guys, were you, I guess, okay with just kind of, it seemed like we just played for the tie. Like if we threw a quick little pass, if something crazy was there, take it. If not, just get down, take the tie. Don't allow the Steelers to scoop and score like we've done before.
The Steelers knew we wasn't passing. They knew we was not passing. It was so easy for them. And the Lions knew that the Lions weren't passing. Like, it's just, we were just, our backs were against the wall, in the rain, in the cold, in the mud. And our best chance was doing some kind of trickery in the run game. None of that worked. Our backs were against the wall. Jared Goff is our quarterback, and in the rain, in those conditions, with an oblique injury, I mean, it is what it is.
I once saw I believe, and I guess I can't remember exactly who it was. A few years ago, the starting quarterback was benched for the very last play, so they brought him Jacoby Brissett. I think it might have been Tom Brady, but maybe it was Indy, and maybe it was like Phillip Rivers, and he couldn't get the ball. So they bring in Brissett.
Yeah, it was the Colts and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, so they bring in Brissett to throw that. Look, like Goff gave you maybe the best chance to win the game because he's Jared Goff, right now. At least for the last play of the game, if you know Goff's not going to be able to throw it down there, and you know the defense knows, and you know the Lions know, and you know everyone at home knows that Goff can't throw the ball more than 15 yards right now because he literally, like, just, like, not even that he's not good enough, like, but he just can't. He just can't. He's injured. At that point, on that last play, run in Boyle, who I believe we said earlier last week, he can throw the ball out of the stadium on his knees. You know what I mean? The guy's got a cannon.
That game, though?
Wait, what?
Was Boyle active for that game?
Oh, was he not? Whatever. We have a backup quarterback. I don't care who it is.
I know.
Whoever our backup quarterback can probably throw the ball 55, 60 yards. Get them in there and send our receivers. Like, I get it. Goff couldn't do that. But whatever. We have a backup quarterback. Throw him in there and let him chuck that ball. What we did there on that last play was play for the tie. And we did play to just not lose. And that sucks because it seems like we didn't do everything we could have done to win. And that's how you got to leave the field, knowing that you put everything and did everything that you had, that you could to win that game. And I think leaving Jared Goff in for that last play did not give us the best opportunity to win. And I don't like that. To me, that falls on Dan Campbell. And I'm sad to say, but I've said it maybe 4 or 5 times, at least after 4 or 5 weeks, where I get pretty sad about something Dan Campbell decided to do late in the game. And it goes all the way back to the preseason, where he didn't call a timeout and just let a game go to the end.
I think this is just a rookie head coach learning.
It is.
Being a rookie head coach with an awful team. So he was just dealt a terrible hand and just kind of has to get through this bumpy road. But once he gets through, it's smooth pavement. I mean, I think he knows, fingers crossed, because the Lions have a history, knock on wood, of crap going our way. But as long as we could just get one win, get to the offseason, have no colossal injuries, big problems, or anything going on with the organization, I think Campbell knows it's smooth sailing from there. So,
you know how I kind of feel right now? I kind of feel like Dan Campbell is just he's upset. He's frustrated. He doesn't like to lose. I think he is going through it, guys. Like, literally, personally, the losing, the 0-8, all that. I think it's taking his toll on him mentally, and he is just trying to break through that, and that's what we're seeing. So I guess he just rather tie than take another L. I understand that. I mean, with what you got on the field, you don't want that thought of 0-17. Well, that thought is no longer in our heads. It's not in the Lions' heads anymore. They know that 0-17 is done. That's not going to happen. That talk is over. Maybe he just wanted that little satisfaction to move forward, and I'm sure he's going to be more aggressive in at least winning one more game this season.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Julius. I definitely think it's taken a toll on him. But he wants it more than, honestly, probably anyone in the organization, I would say. And maybe Brad Holmes wants it more. Maybe Sheila wants it more. But Dan Campbell, you can tell this guy, he needs a win and he wants a win. So hopefully we get one next week against the Browns. We are coming in to November we haven't lost a game in November, in which we had a bye week and then we tied this game. So like it or not, we have not lost in November. It could be our month. We play the Browns. We are on the road, but the Browns, they showed they can be exposed and diced apart. And granted, Mac Jones is a little bit better than Jared Goff, but 45-7, I mean, that tells you any team could beat the Browns. When you're losing 45-7, I'm confident that any team could beat you on that day. Now, granted, the Browns might not play like that against the Lions and might be a little better, but they will be without no Kareem Hunt, obviously no OBJ. Donovan Peoples-Jones was just banged up in practice. He rolled his ankle. He honestly is trending downwards. And now Nick Chubb is not a lock to play for coming back off his COVID test. So if Chubb still doesn't get his 2 negative tests or what, then Chubb might not play, and we might get to go against Dearness Johnson, who isn't, a terrible back, but isn't Nick Chubb.
And we just held Najee Harris to like 105 rushing yards. Pretty good feat, in my opinion. And the game's on my birthday. So, I mean, I'll be turning 31. I'll have gone around the sun 31 times on that Sunday. So, we're getting the victory, boys. We don't lose on my birthday. I hate to break it to any Browns fans listening, but Favors Day, they don't lose. So I'm fully projecting a victory. Baker Mayfield's going to be scared. Charles Harris getting a sack. Julian Okwara getting a sack. Those are for sure. I don't know if Jerry Jacobs has a pick yet this year, and I think I feel him getting number 1 against Baker. Amani's been playing lights out freaking defensive secondary football, so I love that. He's going to shut down whoever they want to put on the side. Landry's going to be scared.
Revenge game.
Wait, what?
Daryl Hodge revenge game.
Oh,
the Browns
man.
cut him. He was from the Browns.
He's plus like 10,000 to catch a touchdown. Anytime scorer, I'm putting money on Kadero. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Lions win this game, though, 28-21.
You did, if I remember correctly, you did predict the Lions to take the Browns on this one in the offseason, in which I think the Lions have had a decent history against the Browns. But
I believe we're like 17-4 against them.
Yeah, they have a good record against them.
And the odd part is we're the underdogs. So we're 11 We're getting 11.5 points, despite my terrible wording. The Lions are 11.5-point dogs. What do you guys make of this? I'm looking at this seems like a little too much. I think we should be like a 9.5. Do you guys think we cover this game? Do you think 11.5 is too high, too low, just right?
I mean, I just predicted a victory, so I definitely think we're covering. But if I really was betting, I still think 11's too high. Yeah, I'll take the Lions to stay within 10 points for sure. Browns aren't that good.
I take the Lions to stay within 10 as well. I think that they have a really good shot at winning this game if they come out. I hope that the tie brings positive momentum, okay? Because if it does, they could win. The Browns.
Almost feels like a trap game with the just how the Lions kind of played, how we have honestly the most momentum we've had all season going into the following week. The Browns were beat up. Baker Mayfield, he has just been completely torn apart the last couple weeks, in which I don't know if it's shoulder or what, he has been hit quite a bit. So if we could get to Baker and rattle Baker, I think we can easily win this game. Our run defense isn't atrocious enough to allow running backs to the pass like Dalvin Cook we've seen, Aaron Jones we've seen, and obviously Nick Chubb now to completely dominate and just win the game themselves. So I don't see Nick Chubb doing that. If now Kareem Hunt was in the game, I could easily see both of them running off the lines. But Chubb himself, I don't think he can do it, especially coming off COVID. He did have the virus. It wasn't just a false positive or something like that. So he might not even be himself coming back. I know a lot of players have been fine, but there have been some players who have struggled a bit. So it will be interesting to see. But all in all, I think we just got to honestly play the Browns exactly like we play the Steelers, and I think we have a decent shot.
I was disappointed in the Pittsburgh game because we didn't get barely any pass rush on Mason Rudolph. And I was satisfied with the rest of the defense. I thought Jalen Reeves-Maybin and Alzalone, Derek Barnes were pretty good in the middle. Like you said, you mentioned the corners, Jerry Jacobs, Monty O'Rourke played great. Tracy Walker before he got injured. Hopefully he's good for the Browns game. Will Harris had probably his best game that I've seen him as a Lion. And the defensive line played great against run defense. They had several players in the backfield on Najee Harris a few times. It's just that there was no pass rush. And that could have been the difference in the game, the scoring drives we gave up to Pittsburgh. There was almost no pressure on Mason Rudolph. He was making some throws. He was getting out the pocket. He had like a couple big runs on him.
He had one where he got out of a sack all the way to the right, circled all the way back to the left, and it ended up being like a 15-yard run.
We couldn't rush him. We couldn't contain him. And we just got to be better than that pass rush-wise against the Browns and against every team we're going forward. And I think they're more than capable, like I said, that positive momentum. I am picking the Lions to win this game. And I don't even think I've done that in like 5 weeks because I've been saying that I don't trust them, blah, blah. But the tie against the Steelers is the difference. They show me they're capable of not losing, okay? They should have won if it wasn't for the kicker. They can beat the Browns. The Browns are vulnerable. They can, like you said, it's kind of a trap game, Adam. You're right. It is, even though I think that the Browns know that they're vulnerable. And Baker Mayfield is banged up. The offensive line is banged up. The wide receiver core is thin. Their defense is questionable, very questionable. I mean, I'm gonna say Lions 24, Browns 21. Lions get their first win of the season. Carry the momentum for the tie to Thanksgiving.
I like it. Yeah, I'm gonna hop on the bandwagon and say Lions win 2. I think it's gonna be a little bit tighter, a little bit low scoring. I should say. I'm gonna go 14-10, and not to mention, do you guys like seeing the Dolphins upset the Ravens, then seeing the Jets beat the
Jags beat the Bills.
And then there was one other upset, I thought. But there was a whole lot of upsets. So does that give you guys some more like, you know what? It isn't any given Sunday. And even if it comes down to Seattle and Green Bay the last final 2 weeks, we could take one. And it's any given Sunday. Or are you guys still in the feeling of if we get down to it, we can't beat Mason Rudolph, we can't beat Teddy Bridgewater and the broken Broncos, and we can't beat old Matt Ryan and the Falcons, then not a chance in hell we're going to beat Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers.
We can beat anyone any given Sunday except for Aaron Rodgers. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play the last week of the season, we could beat the Packers the last week of the season, that's for sure. That's about the only way. Aaron Rodgers would never lose to this Detroit Lions team. It just wouldn't happen. It'll never happen. But real quick, also for the Steelers game, can we just shout out Jack Fox's Golden Globe nomination and his acting job and freaking the ex-Detroit Lion who ran into him? I can't remember who it was right now. It was
Miles Killebrew.
Who?
Miles Killebrew.
Killebrew, yeah.
It was Killebrew.
Oh, that was a great acting job by Jack Fox. I fully expect him to see him nominated in the Oscars. Unbelievable job. It kept everything going. We got a first down with a fullback drive right after that happened. Prolonged we obviously didn't matter, but it was still awesome. Way to go, Jack Fox.
Yeah.
Still the MVP.
And then one thing I did forget to bring up that was kind of a gutsy play was, I can't find it, but
Pistons up 57-53.
Woo! Get it, Stones. Dan Campbell went for it on 4th and 1 on, I want to say, like our own 35 or something.
That was the play I'm talking about. That happened right after the punt.
Yeah,
we handed it to our fullback.
Jason Kabinda, 2 yards up the middle.
That's right. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, and I love that call. I think that was the perfect momentum swing. They messed up. Let's capitalize. Fullback up the middle, easy as pie.
Even though pie is not that easy to make.
I honestly would know. I'm not a big pie fan, ironically.
Lemon pie? Delicious.
Maybe a chocolate pie or something.
You don't
Something
eat pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving? Bro?
Not really. I mean,
What?
apple pie
What?
a little bit.
Sweet potato pie? You ever had it?
Dude, put some
No,
Cool
man.
Whip
You guys
on
are
some
gonna
sweet
hate me for
potato
this.
pie,
It's
bro.
not like you guys like Thanksgiving food because I hate Thanksgiving food. And before
You ever
we
had
get,
pecan pie?
Oh,
yeah, okay.
rhubarb pie,
Yeah.
Oh man, some good pies out there.
peach pie.
Eh.
How do you not like Thanksgiving food, bro? It's
Nick.
mashed potatoes,
Oh,
mac and
Nick.
cheese, turkey.
I know we're going off topic right now, Nick. Nick, do you know the movie Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, of course I know that.
When he stole the damn pie out the window. Adam, I'm sure you have never seen Life. And if you haven't, you should.
He's too young. He doesn't even know who Martin Lawrence is, bro.
I know who Martin Lawrence is.
Okay.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys 3 just came out last year.
That's how he knows him. That's right. He ain't ever seen, what's that one night movie that he's in? He like goes back in time, Martin Lawrence. I can't remember. It's so funny.
Also, Big Mama's House. That's not a Martin Lawrence classic.
Oh, that's a good one.
See
That's-
that one.
that's
Or
a
actually,
good
you guys both have little kids, so yeah. But enough of the
What a
Martin
great way to end the
Lawrence
show.
fun talk. Thanks everyone for joining in. As always, we will be on next week, likely Wednesday. But you never know, things could change. We'll let you guys know. But as always, check me out on Twitter at EverydayFFB. Check out Nick on Twitter at NickFaberNFL, and check out Julius on Twitter at the Fifth Top. And as always, check us out our Honolulu main page on Twitter, Honolulu Blues _. And check out Nick's cat.
Go Lions!
Yes, sir. Go Lions. Can we say, is it Thibodeau? Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm going Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. I mean, that's how I pronounced it with. Isn't it spelled the same as the old Bulls head coach?
Yeah.
If we end up drafting him, I'm just going to KT.
KT.
Tibbs.
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 Yeah,
Tibbs.
Tibbs is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Cubs. All right. Go Lions.
Great show. Go Lions.
Lions.
Let's get a win. Screw these